You think you've healed. You think you've moved on. But what if I told you that every decision you made today, who you texted, what triggered you, why you said yes when you meant no, wasn't actually your choice? What if your past is still here right now making choices for you? The past doesn't disappear. It hides in your preferences and your triggers and the people you chase and the ones you push away. It lives in the space between who you are and who you pretend to be. You were taught to forget the pain, to keep going, to numb it with achievement, validation, or spiritual performance. Move forward, they said. Don't look back, they promised. The past is gone, they lied, but what you avoid doesn't vanish. It transforms. It becomes your shadow. And the shadow doesn't just sit quietly in the corner of your psyche. It acts without your permission. It chooses your lovers, always the ones who feel familiar in their unavailability. It controls your reactions, that instant defensiveness, that unexplainable panic. It sabotages your peace just to keep you safe from something you haven't faced, something you don't even remember you're running from. The past isn't dead. It's alive in the way you flinch at love, alive in the way you over-explain when someone questions you, desperate to prove you're not wrong, you're not bad, you're not too much. It breathes in the way you stay silent when you want to scream, how you smile when you want to cry, how you say I'm fine when you're drowning. It's all still there, hiding, waiting to be felt, waiting to be seen, waiting for you to stop running. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need to manifest harder or meditate longer. You need a mirror, not the kind that shows your face, the kind that shows your fractures, the kind that reflects back all the parts of yourself you've abandoned along the way. This is where shadow work begins, not with fixing, not with healing, but with remembering, with naming the things you once buried just to survive, because that's the truth no one tells you. Your shadow was born to protect you. When you were small and someone shamed you for crying, your psyche made a choice. It said, if tears equal rejection, then we'll smile instead. We'll laugh. We'll become the one who never needs comfort. When you were punished for expressing anger, told it was ugly, dangerous, unacceptable, you didn't just learn to control it. You learned to swallow it whole, to digest it until it became anxiety, depression, that constant tension in your body that no amount of yoga can release. When being too much pushed people away, too sensitive, too intense, too honest, you didn't just tone it down. You murdered parts of your soul. You shrank yourself into bite-sized pieces, digestible portions that wouldn't overwhelm anyone's appetite for normalcy. And piece by piece, year by year, your true self, the loud one, the creative one, the sensitive one, the wild one, got locked away in the name of acceptance, in the name of belonging, in the name of love that demanded you be less than whole. Now you wonder why you feel numb, why joy feels foreign, why love feels impossible, not because you can't find it, but because you can't let it in, why you can't relax even in safety, why your body stays braced for impact even when no one's swinging. It's because the past is still echoing inside you. Your nervous system doesn't know the danger has passed. Your body is a museum of unprocessed moments, a library of unspoken words, a graveyard of feelings that were never allowed to complete themselves. And shadow work isn't about silencing these echoes. It's about learning to listen to them. So how do you begin? You start by noticing. Next time you're triggered, and life will make sure you are, don't react, stop. Breathe, observe, ask yourself, what memory does this feeling belong to? How old do I feel right now? Who am I becoming in this moment? And who am I still protecting? Then write, not to be poetic, not to make sense, not to heal. Write to remember, write to excavate, write to the version of you who had to hide, the 8-year-old who learned their needs were too much, the teenager who stopped trusting after betrayal, the adult who pretended to be okay when they were falling apart. Ask them what they still need, what they're still afraid of, what they never got to say, and then listen as if your life depends on it, because in some ways it does. Your aliveness, your capacity for real connection, your ability to feel, it all depends on these exiled parts coming home. Your nervous system isn't malfunctioning when it overreacts. It's remembering. It's saying last time felt like this, we weren't safe. Your fear isn't weakness. It's a map to your shadow. It's showing you exactly where you've hidden yourself. The goal of shadow work isn't to be perfect. It's to be whole, but wholeness requires truth. And truth often feels like grief. You will grieve who you could have been if someone had loved you better. If someone had seen all of you, not just the convenient parts. You will grieve the years spent hiding, shrinking, overperforming just to earn what should have been freely given. You will grieve the relationships you stayed in too long, the boundaries you never set, the dreams you abandoned for approval, and it will hurt. God, it will hurt like nothing else. but it will also unlock you. This is why most people stop. Because feeling is harder than forgetting. Because numbness has become comfortable. Because the devil you know feels safer than the angel you've never met. But forgetting is the real trap. Because the body always remembers. The tightness in your chest when someone gets too close, that's memory. The shaking in your hands during confrontation, that's your teenage self. The knot in your stomach when you receive praise, that's every time love was conditional on achievement. These aren't flaws, they're messages, encoded signals from a self that still waits in the dark. Not to haunt you, but to be held. Not to punish you, but to be welcomed home. And when you finally sit with those feelings, really sit with them, not analyze them, not fix them, but feel them in your bones, something strange happens. You begin to reclaim your power. Not in loud, dramatic ways, but in soft, subtle revolutions. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You speak your truth without the automatic apology. You stop needing to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop needing external validation because you finally validated the parts of yourself that were never witnessed. And the past, it stops haunting you. Because you finally stopped running from it. The past doesn't haunt you because it's evil. It haunts you because it's unresolved. And unresolved pain doesn't fade, it repeats, it loops. It creates patterns that play out again and again until you finally stop and pay attention. That's why you keep attracting the same kinds of relationships. Different faces, same wounds. Why you freeze when you should speak. Why you self-sabotage just when things begin to feel good. It's not fate. It's not karma. It's a loop. An unconscious pattern born from an unhealed story. And the loop continues until you stop. Not to fight it, but to feel it. To finally turn around and face the ghost only to realize it was just a scared child holding a story that needed to be heard. Shadow work asks one question again and again. What have I abandoned in order to survive? It might be your voice, your softness, your anger, your creativity, your ability to trust. Whatever it was, it didn't disappear. It was buried. And what's buried doesn't die. It waits. So how do you begin the process of integration? Of becoming whole again? Start small. Start in the places that make you uncomfortable. The jealousy you pretend not to feel. What dream is it pointing to? The judgment that rises so quickly. What part of yourself are you seeing in others? The rage that surprises you. What boundary is trying to be born? Don't shame these parts. Observe them. Honor them. They're not your enemies. They're your teachers. Carl Jung called this process individuation. The slow, sacred, painful transformation of becoming who you were always meant to be by reclaiming what you were forced to hide. And here's the paradox. Your shadow is not your enemy. It never was. It's your protector, your guide back to wholeness. It holds the emotions you couldn't process. It carries the truth under all your pretending. It remembers what your conscious mind forgot. But let me be honest, it's not always beautiful. Sometimes it's messy as hell. You'll cry for reasons you don't understand. You'll question who you really are without the wounds you once called your personality. You'll feel like you're falling apart. And you are. But only the false parts. Only the masks. Only the performance. And in that space between who you were and who you're becoming, you'll feel something you forgot was possible. Peace. Not the false peace of avoidance, but the true peace of integration. The peace of no longer being at war with yourself. When you meet the parts of yourself you once disowned, something ancient awakens inside you. A knowing. A remembering. A soft voice that says you were never broken. You were only buried. And slowly, gently, fiercely you begin to rise. Not as someone new, but as someone whole. The past isn't dead. It's hiding inside you. Not as a curse, but as a doorway. And maybe now, finally, you're ready to walk through it. Because healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with compassion. It means feeling what once felt unbearable and surviving it. It means choosing to live not in spite of your past, but with it. Integrated, honored, and finally at peace. This is the work. This is the path. This is your return to self. Welcome home. The you that you've been waiting for has been waiting for you too.